Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to give you 10 gift ideas for your loved one who is interested in backcountry camping or camping in general, or maybe they're already into the hobby and enjoy doing that and just want to get some good gift ideas for the Christmas season. So I'm going to share with you 10 items plus my favorite bonus item for this Christmas season. Now, when I say camping, I'm leaning a little bit more into the backcountry camping or primitive camping, not pulling your camper into a campsite type of camping. And we're going to begin today by talking about probably the biggest item that you'll need for backcountry camping, and that is a great bag. This bag is the Teton Explorer 4000. Now that 4000 has a number, I don't know, it has something to do with its size, cubic inches or centimeters or something, I'm not quite sure, but I have taken this through national parks, national forests, state parks. I've probably hiked at least a couple hundred miles with this bag, and I highly recommend it. It doesn't have to be this exact bag, but if you're looking at getting into backcountry camping or primitive camping, your number one piece of gear has to be a great bag. You can't just bring a regular backpack unless the weather is perfect and you're not hiking very far. So a few things to look for in a great bag is you want it to be the right size. You don't want it to be too big, be carrying a bunch of extra weight. You don't want it to be too small and not have enough room for all of your gear. This bag has a bag within the hood of it. It's got its main compartment with a frame. Then behind the frame, there is your padding. It's got great waist support, and then it's got ventilation throughout the back. You can also adjust the height of the straps and kind of where you position it on your body, which is great. Then it has 3 external pouches on the outside, and that's where I keep all my small things. The main part of the bag I just use for stuff like the sleeping bag, the tent, the sleeping pad, and clothes and food. Additionally, this has a built-in rain cover in the bottom of the bag that if it starts to rain, I've used this several times, you just pull it up and it wraps completely around your bag, making it waterproof, which it's already waterproof essentially, but that gives it an extra layer of protection so your gear isn't getting wet. So that's my first item, which is the Explorer 4000. The second item on my list is a great sleeping bag. Now, great sleeping bags really don't cost a lot of money. What you want is I would say aim for two main things. The first is you want it to be a compression bag. That means it has these straps on it, and you can pull the straps like this and make it smaller and smaller, and it can get even smaller than this. I don't like to get it smaller than it needs to be. That way it keeps a little bit fluffed up. So the first thing is that it needs to have a compression sack to it and be designed for that. And the second is that it needs to be a mummy bag. Now, what is a mummy bag? You can kind of see it here on the picture, but a mummy bag is essentially a bag that's like fitted to hold people. So at the base, it's very narrow for your feet and has extra padding for warmth at your feet. And then it slowly gets bigger as it comes up towards your shoulders. And then it actually has a built-in like hoodie that you can like bungee right around your head. And so what this does is it keeps everything nice and tight around your body to keep the warmth in. It also reduces like excess weight by carrying extra fabric and stuff that you don't need. So great sleeping bag. This one, it says for 35 to 40 degrees. I don't care what they say. They're never as good as they say they are. Yeah, a good sleeping bag is a no-brainer for the new or experienced camper. The third item on my list is a great multi-tool. I recommend just a regular Leatherman. I don't recommend bringing a ton of redundancies when I'm in the backcountry, especially if I'm camping with someone else. There's no need to carry like 15 knives and everything and 20 first aid kits. You can share some of that stuff, but in my mind, a good multi-tool is a no-brainer. And you want it just for a few main things. You want it for the pliers that I feel like I use way more than you would think you would use them. And then of course the built-in knife is an essential piece of kit. Mine has scissors. I really don't use those that much. And then a can opener. And so a great generic multi-tool, I think, is super important. And a lot of them come with built-in little cases that you can put on your belt while you're in the backcountry, so you can just pull it straight out. Really, you know, even a $30 one, I think, is normally pretty good, and you can always go up from there. But a good Leatherman, a good multi-tool is a no-brainer. The fourth item is a good headlamp. As you're hiking and if it starts getting dark, you don't want to be carrying around a light with you. This is not my normal headlamp. It's actually at the off-road property, I think, and I hope, because it's like a $100 headlamp. This is a cheap one, but it lets you have your hands free. It lets you, when you get up in the middle of the night and have to go to the restroom, you can just put it on your head, and again, frees up your hands. And in my mind, no-brainer. Next item on the list is a good power bank. This is a RAV power bank. Almost all of them now come with built-in flashlights, and so I don't have any like lighting stuff here because I'll have my phone on me and a power bank that has a flashlight built in. Most of them come with USB Type-C and A built in, and even something as small as this, which, I mean, it might weigh like 8 ounces or so, doesn't take up a lot of room. It doesn't add a ton of weight, but I could get 4 or 5 charges with my phone just on this. And especially if you're wanting to do some videography stuff like me, or you're at a state park or in a national forest and you're wanting to film it, you got to have some sort of battery stuff. And so battery backup, just a small one, is all that's needed. The next is fire starting. Now, fire starting in my mind is a no-brainer for redundancies because it is super lightweight, but what I encourage is a butane torch, a torch that gets super hot, super fast, super reliable. Don't just use a regular kind of Bic lighter, but something that actually uses some gas that you refill it regularly, and it gets like 10 times hotter than a normal lighter. So that's that item. Now, what do you think is in this case? This, I'm going to kind of put along with my cookware set. This is a stove. Now, this is made in China. It's fairly cheap, but I have used this 1,000 times. And basically, it comes out of its case. It attaches to a gas canister. It's got a built-in striker here. And so this is how you heat up your food when you're in the backcountry. I want to say I paid like $9 for this on Amazon 10 years ago. Now, I know there are better ones and they save on some fuel and things like that, but a good stove, I think, is super important to any outdoorsman. Now, one of the things that I did not save a ton of money on, that I didn't want to skimp on, is a good cook set. Now, a cook set, in my mind, should be very simple, and basically it is a pot. That's pretty much the whole thing. It folds up in itself, and then it opens up. And the reason why I got this GSI Outdoors cooking set, I say set, it's really just a pot, is for 2 reasons. One is because of the high quality of it, but 2 is that it fits a normal size container of fuel. So this is isobutane propane fuel mix. This is an 8-ounce one. They come in half the size. This, I can get a ton of meals out of just this one. This one is several years old, and it's number 2 of a set that I bought. But so this holds 1,000 milliliters, but to save room in your pack, this fits right down inside of it, and it's easy for storage. All right, final 3 items here. The next item is your tent. Now, should you camp with a tent or should you camp with a hammock? I would say go with a tent. While it takes up more room in a bag, you're used to sleeping on a flat surface or flattish, but with a hammock, a lot of people really struggle, and if they don't practice and try and take some naps in it ahead of time, they really struggle. So this is my tent. I've used it at the off-road property. I've used it in parks and forests all over America, and it's easy to set up. The reason why I like this tent, this is the Mountain and Sports tent for 1 person, is because it's big enough to sit up in, but not so big that all of your body heat escapes, especially during the winter time. It comes with a ground tarp, it comes with the regular tent, and it comes with a rain guard on it. So that's a good thing. Second to last item is a watch. Now I'm wearing my Apple Watch right now, and sometimes I wear that in the backcountry when I'm camping, but not always, especially if it's several days, because I just don't want to be charging this all the time. So this is a Casio G-Shock watch. This is pretty much everything resistant. So it's smash resistant, it is water resistant, all that stuff. You can, I mean, I've smacked this thing against trees and bricks and rocks, and I've done rock climbing in this, and you just can't beat these things up. What I like about this watch is it's got a lot of extra information in it. It's got a moon chart in it, so you'll know the moon. It also has a tide chart in it. Now, I don't live near the ocean, but that would be a valuable piece of information if you're in the backcountry. It's got alarms, it's got a built-in light and all this stuff. And so, yeah, just a good G-Shock watch, I think, is a no-brainer. It'll track your steps and do all that stuff as well. And the batteries last forever. Like, I want to say it's like 7 or 8 years since I've changed the battery in this. So that's super cool. Saves a ton of energy. And then the last item on the list is a sleeping pad. And now this is because I'm sleeping in a tent. I use a sleeping pad, and there's two generic types. This is a Thermarest Z-Lite, and I've used this camping, where was it? Big South Fork. I used just this, and if you see it, just whoop, it folds out. It does have an actual listed R value. This is nice because you just saw it takes 3 seconds to lay down on the ground. What I like about this also is that it's not just for sleeping. Like, if you just want to sit on the ground and not be in the middle of dirt or mud or sticks or something, you can just set this down, or you can lay the whole thing out and have 2 or 3 people sitting on it very easily. The other kind is like this one. This one is an inflatable one. It's got like a little bit of memory foam in it, but it also is inflatable. And so you let it out, you undo the valve, and it slowly fills up with air, and then you take a couple minutes and blow it all the way up. If I had to choose between this one and this one, as far as sleeping goes, I would choose an inflatable one. A good inflatable pad will give you just a little bit of cushion, but that pocket of air will insulate your body against the ground, and I just feel like it's way more comfortable than the actual foam pad. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 items for the camping outdoorsman or outdoors lady for the 2023 Christmas season. Now, I said a bonus item, and you're going to laugh at me when you hear this, but this is probably my favorite item of everything I use when backcountry, and it's this. This is the Triple Threat. It has a fork with a serrated edge on the side for a knife, and it's a spoon, and it is made of titanium. Now, I don't even remember why I bought this years ago. This spork was $8. I spent $8 on a spork, and this is for your like super ultra backcountry camper because it weighs like, I don't know, 1/10 of an ounce. It's next to nothing. It's super strong, got a little bit of pliability to it, and I just think it's so silly. So if you want to really surprise your loved one with a great stocking stuffer, get them a titanium spork. All of the items that I talked about today are below in the video's description with links to everything for you to check out and look at all the reviews and maybe buy one for a loved one. And yeah, thank you to Joy, one of my subscribers, who gave me the idea for this video and the companion video. And I just want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving, a very Merry Christmas. I pray that the season would just be filled with the love of Christ in your life and in your families. God bless you, and remember, God's creation is meant to be explored.